Okay, Godzilla X Kong, the new empire, not to be mistaken with the Frozen Empire. They could have definitely been a crossover this year. But anyway, okay, guys, this film directed by Adam Wingard. Now, if you know Adam Wingard, you might be aware that he directed the Pariah film to this one. He also directed The Guest, which was starring Dan Stevens, who's in this film as well. That's an absolute banger of a film, so I highly recommend watching that. But yeah, this film, folks, just to give you a little bit of a history when it comes to me and the Monsterverse from Legendary, Godzilla 2014, I think it falls off a cliff pretty much when Bryan Cranston isn't in the movie anymore. But I do think Gareth Edwards has been the best at displaying scale when it comes to these monsters. That Halo jump in the first movie is awesome. And when the flares are going down and you can just see like the side of Godzilla, all that shit is brilliant. Then we get to Kong Skull Island. Also really enjoyed this one. This one's high up on the ranking. I like the color. I like the Vietnam setting, sort of, well, not setting, but the feel of Vietnam in that film. Then we get to King of the Monsters, which is another film that I actually really do like. The kaiju action in that is spot on. But one factor of that film that isn't great is the human element, which is a reoccurring theme with this franchise. Then we move on to Godzilla versus Kong. Now, this one is probably my favorite in the franchise because it knows exactly what it is. I think Adam Wingard really does a great job with that film. The score is fantastic, gets a bit of a bump up, and I like the use of color in that film. Lots and lots of color. And the showdowns are awesome. They are simply awesome. So that brings us to this new entry in the franchise. Right, guys, I would say I enjoyed it for the most part. I don't prefer it over Godzilla vs. Kong that came out a couple of years ago, but I had a relatively good time with this. The one thing that lets it down yet again is the human aspect of it. It's just no good. It's no good. I think one thing this film does really well is show us that we could maybe have a film without any humans whatsoever, or that they aren't the forefront of these films. One of the aspects that I really enjoyed about this film is the characterization that they give to Kong. They give him a lot more emotion to deal with in this film, and you can really see it animated on his face, which I really appreciated. This film starts with Kong and it ends with Kong. Bookends both with Kong. I would say he is almost your lead character in this film. So this one, we've got Godzilla on Earth level. It's protecting the Earth from other Titans. Then we've got Kong in Hollow Earth that's looking for his family, potentially looking for any, I don't know, just more monkey company, should we say. Yeah, all the stuff on Hollow Earth is decent. Like, it's a major CGI fest, which is fine. You know that going into these films. So I'm not going to knock it down for that. As far as the cast goes, our humans, we've got Rebecca Hall returning. For some reason, she's at the forefront of this franchise now. Whatever. We've also got Dan Stevens, who worked with Adam Wingard in The Guest. Highly recommend that film. But yeah, he's awesome in this movie. I found him pretty funny, to be fair, which, in fairness, is a reason why I don't think you needed Brian Tyree Henry's character to return in this one, because he was just like a bit of the comedy forefront, particularly in this one. And I think with him and Dan Stevens doing a bit of the comedy, it was just a bit too much for me. It's Trapper, if I'm not mistaken, he's called. If they have to have a human element in this film, in the next one, I could take him as the lead. I just think with Rebecca Hall, there's not much going on there, if I'm being honest. You've also got a returning character, Kaylee Hottle, who plays Gia, who is the one who sort of can connect with Kong. Still really like that sort of relationship that they have. The score to this film, I would say, is pretty sick. It goes for this sort of synthwave vibe, and I'm here all day for it. And I would say the color in this film. So the last film implemented a lot of color, and this one sticks to that. I think, you know, it really makes it stick out from the likes of -1. We also get a little Kong in this one. So I'm not really a fan of the like Porg stuff in The Last Jedi, and you know, when you just put a cute character in there for the sake of having a cute character in there. Not really a fan of that. But little Kong in this film, who we've seen in the trailers, one of the best parts of the film, I would say. One of the best things that got me sort of emotionally attached to the film, because it certainly wasn't the humans. But anyway, my mids is we don't get a lot of Godzilla action in this one. I mean, we do, but he's not on screen for an awful lot. And, you know, he's a character that's in the title. So to not have him on screen that much, a little bit of a disappointment. But Adam Wingard has said if he does make another one of these films, he will have it more Godzilla focused, which I'm all about. Because in fairness, at one point, this film turns into bloody Planet of the Apes. You know, bit jarring. Going in to watch this film, sit down, watch the trailers. Planet of the Apes comes on, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm like, yeah, it looks badass, man. Then I basically watch it in Godzilla X Kong. Nah, I'm only joking. It's not that egregious, but, you know, there's a lot of bloody monkeys in this film, you know. Not complaining, because it's a more Kong-focused film, in fairness. But that also sort of brings me on to the villain. Pretty weak in my eyes. I think they could have done a bit more with him. I sort of like the look of him, but not massively threatening. I'll just say that. You know, first matchup showdown we get with him, he's not exactly, you know, I'm not coming out of it thinking, whoa, this guy. This film was fine, guys. You know, sort of exactly what you think it's going to be. A lot of kaiju action in this one, which was a good thing. But I would like to see going forward if they could potentially do one of these films without any humans at all. I think that'd be a bonus, because that's been the weakest part of this entire franchise. I'd probably just give this film 3 out of 5. Not one of the best in the franchise. I'm still going to go with Godzilla vs. Kong for that one. I think that's top tier stuff for me. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching this little review. You know, I normally do this with someone else on the channel, and we have a bit of a discussion about it, but, you know, can't do that for all the films coming out this year. So this one just gets a little 10-minute. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.